Hey guys, I hope you're well today. Happy Tuesday, it's Telecon Tuesday. Today I've got a 10-minute video for you on procrastination and excuses that we make when we just don't want to get things done. I also look at some tips and pointers from the likes of Mel Robbins and Michelle Gordon, as well as some inspiring thoughts from Bruce Lee, all just neatly packed for you to watch 10 minutes of your time, and I hope with always that it helps you in any way possible. With love guys, MLD. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Telecon Tuesday masterclass titled Get It Done. Today we'll be looking at the procrastination monster. Alright guys, so we've all had it, right? An idea. Sometimes you have a really great intention. You want to make your day amazing. But then something happens. And what is that? You guessed it. Procrastination. Guys, let's look at some feelings that we get when we procrastinate. One of the common ones is a stress of not knowing where to start. Or maybe you just have a fear by not knowing the outcome. Another one, you basically overall fear deadlines. Alright, you'd hate them. The feeling of them just makes you not want to even start on a project. Another one, guys, is a limiting belief that you cannot succeed. Maybe you feel vulnerable and you want to retreat to safety. But how dare we admit to these feelings, right? So instead we resort to cozy excuses, the bittersweet cozy excuses, one of which could be staying in bed for another 5 minutes for the 8th time, or you wait until you have all the pieces of information before you start with a project. Maybe you just want to save up some money before you start your own business, and then you want to save up a little bit more. Sometimes we wait for that perfect timing moment to hit us so that we know it is 100% right to act. Another one might be our belief that the competition in the world is too high, so we want to obtain another qualification so that we are fit to start on this venture. It is basically a comfortable space where we are okay with not doing something until we are not okay with it. Bottom line is we end up putting off tasks until later, tomorrow, next week, or even further into the future. Something like that. Alright, procrastinators unite tomorrow. Alright guys, let's look at willpower. Bruce Lee defines willpower as the supreme court of the mind. I have chosen 3 of his quotes from his meditation book, and I'm going to dive into each one a little bit. The first one is the will to do. My will to do springs from the knowledge that I can do. I'm only being natural, for there is no fear or doubt inside my mind. So guys, for a moment, I want you to just imagine something that you wish you could do. It could be something simple. Maybe you want to wake up early tomorrow morning and go for a run or a walk. Or maybe you want to gain a new skill, such as becoming a great baker or a chef. Another one might be that you feel the need to build a website to increase the stability of your new business and its foundations. Guys, no matter what it is, it could be anything big or small. Let's look at the second point of willpower. So, the yielding will. The yielding will has a respectful ease, soft and downy feathers, a quietude, a shrinking from action, an appearance of inability to do. The heart is humble, but the work is forceful. So this, guys, is where we start to make excuses and we procrastinate. So let's look at that. Now, I want you to take a moment and focus on a feeling that could be holding you back with something that you want to do. You'll use the same 3 examples. Instead of running tomorrow morning, it's too cold, so you would rather stay in bed where it's warm and maybe exercise in the afternoon. Another one might be for you guys who want to be really master chefs. You feel that you can't afford the expensive cooking classes, so how could you possibly become better at cooking? Maybe those who want to build a website, you have no experience in building it, so you switch off that computer and you don't even want to try. What happens, guys? Basically, the intentions of the heart have been dissuaded by the excuses of the mind. Let's look at Bruce Lee's third quote that I've chosen. And this is the will to win. This is an attitude that you can win if you want it badly enough. This means that the will to win is constant and no amount of punishment, no amount of effort, or no condition is too tough to take in order to win. Such an attitude can be developed if winning is closely tied to the practitioner, that's you, to your ideals and your dreams. And that is from Bruce Lee's Striking Thoughts. So, to go back to the first three examples, alright, you push through knowing that you will succeed because you damn well deserve this. So the first one, you get dressed in your gym gear and you go for that run with the end goal in mind through every step. You want to be fit, you want to be healthier, to look better. For you chefs, you take an online course instead, or you watch the cooking channel and end up impressing everyone with your amazing meals. To those of you who want to design that website, guys, you take the time, you watch online tutorials, and you craft that website knowing it will make a difference towards the desired outcome. Alright, guys. So now, let's look at the issue. The issue is taking action. So, this is from a book I've read called Where's My Effing Unicorn by Michelle Gordon. And it is basically, she tells you to stop waiting. Uses a typical scenario. You want to leave a toxic relationship, but you make up excuses like it's their birthday next week, and then it's Christmas, Valentine's Day, or maybe someone in their family passes away, and before you know it, it's their birthday again. So you end up not leaving that toxic relationship. Okay, just effing do it. So guys, let's take a look at the brain. The reason why we do not take action and resort to excuses instead. So I like to look at the brain as a clever gremlin that stops you right in your tracks when your heart wants to achieve something. Very often, when we have an urge to take action, it comes from the heart or the gut. Give it a few seconds and we think of countless reasons why we should not take action. And before we know it, we have procrastinated once more. Procrastination is genetically encoded within us because it is easy to do. The trick is to put yourself in a position where you have no choice but to take action. Basically, you trick the brain. But how? Let's look at Mel Robbins. She's well known as an author and a speaker, but before she was famous, she was going through typical cues that we all have or we all experience when we decide it is time to take action. One of them could be unemployment. Another one could be an unsatisfactory body weight or just the feeling that you need to get fitter. Another one could be excessive substance abuse. In her case, it was alcohol. Another one could be a failing relationship. In her case, it was her marriage. So, let's look at this idea of liftoff. So, this is the inspiration behind the 5-second rule, a book that Mel Robbins wrote. One night she was watching infomercials and an advert was broadcasted that used a rocket being launched into space as part of the marketing campaign. Mel Robbins thought to herself, what if she was that rocket? So the next morning, instead of hitting the snooze button on the alarm, she counted down from 5 to 1, and once she reached 0, she launched out of bed and did some morning exercise. Let's look at the science behind the 5-second rule. What Mel Robbins had accidentally stumbled upon was something that neuroscientists call metacognition. She had accidentally re-engaged her prefrontal cortex to override the part of her brain that squashes ideas, but she didn't know that. She had unlocked a scientific idea that would change the lives of many people struggling with procrastination and motivation issues. So this is the brain, and the prefrontal cortex sits just about there. So guys, what is the trick? Well, how do we trick the brain? We have to be sneaky.
We need to get to the river, and we gotta be sneaky. We gotta be sneaky, Charlie. Sneaky.
Yeah, there's no way I can do that with my legs.
Alright guys, so that's just a little bit of comic relief. Basically, Charlie, that unicorn that you're seeing on the screen, has already made an excuse that he can't do things with his legs, but I thought the whole idea of being sneaky was actually quite apt. You need to trick the brain into doing something that it believes it can't do. So how do we do that? So the trick is to regain your cognitive control. Mel Robbins calls this step regaining your locus of control. When you are stressed, your stress hormone or cortisol is elevated and your prefrontal cortex shuts down. Doing something that requires thinking and that is unnatural to your brain can reactivate it. And there's a website if you need to read more about it. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. When you consciously choose to count backwards, then act, you re-engage your prefrontal cortex. You let your brain know that you are in control of its stress and it stops freaking out. The key is that you have to act when you get the impulse to do that task. Your brain will squash the idea to reduce the stress if you don't. You just need to count and then move in the direction of your desired action and directly against that stress that you are feeling. This is enough to create a habit loop of stimulus, action, reward. Guys, so here's just basically a summary. If you want, I do recommend reading her book. It's called The 5-Second Rule, but here's just a brief summary. So when you have an impulse, you don't want to do anything about it. Count backwards from 5 to 1, and then take an action in that direction of your impulse. That's it, guys. Remember one thing, that even though you might not feel like doing something, taking action will help form a habit loop in the way that you approach tasks in the future. And what better way to approach that task than to rocket off at full speed? Guys, just to sum up, short and sweet, a day can slip by when you're deliberately avoiding what you're supposed to do. That's a quote by Bill Watterson. Guys, I encourage you, please, follow your hearts, believe that you can, and take action. And as always, guys, I end off with love, MLLB.